Morning, welcome to the video. It's 8 o'clock and it's already 15 degrees. It's Wednesday the 20th of May, so I think it's supposed to be the hottest day of the year so far actually. I'm doing fortnightly lawns, although actually the first two are now weeklies. So I just thought I'd take you on a little kind of like ride along, day in the life if you like. A little journey just to have a look at those lawns and see quite where we're at. A couple of these, one of them, well, the second lawn I'm visiting today is from the video I did recently about scarifying a massive lawn, so you'll get to see that and what condition it's in. Also, if on Instagram you've been following over the last couple of months, you'll see I did a couple of really big turfing jobs. That's the first job I'm going to now. I've got 3 mowers today. I've got the Stihl roller mower, I've got the timemaster, and I've got the hayter 41. So this is today's setup. So we've got the timemaster, the 41, and the Stihl. Got the packback blower and the little Stihl, Toro battery power blower. You probably can't see, but over there is the client and a peacock that's escaped. So I don't know if I'm going to video this or not. Oh, there's another peacock. She's now trying to throw bread to catch it. Okay, so this is a lawn that's been laid probably about 2 months ago, I think, maybe a little bit longer. You can just see, I've just noticed it wasn't there last week, and there's just little bits of red thread coming in, which basically is saying that the pre-seed which went in with this lawn has done its job, and now it needs a feed. So I've booked this in for next week. So I'm going to mow it on Tuesday rather than Wednesday and then give it a feed straight afterwards. Here's a turfing job that I did a week or so ago, looking nice and lush. So anyway, we're going to stripe this up, and this is a good advantage of if you do lawn care and mow at the same time, is that you can clock these bits much earlier and get them dealt with straight away. Okay, so that's lawn number 1 done. Then we've got lawn number 2, which is basically just sucking up feathers. And then wheeling through to here to lawn number 3, 4 and 5 if you like. So you can see last week's stripes are still in there just, but I'll show you the first lawn once I finish this one and then gone back and got the blower. It's coming out. I can't see it in this sun, but what did we call that? Lawn number 3, wasn't it? Striped. It's sort of the end of May now, as I said earlier, and it's the hottest couple of days of the year. I've already had 2 phone calls of people wanting seeding jobs done. And I'm just like, it's too late, you've got to wait. It's just become a 24-hour job just trying to keep the seed wet. You need to be organised about these things, guys. If you want a lawn seeded, you need to start planning this early on in the year, not waiting until now and then going, oh yeah, let's get out in the lawn and make it much better. You know, one of the things that I'm saying to people, if you seed a lawn, you can't use it. Certainly for the first month, you know, it's going to take 14 days for the seed to germinate. You'll then be looking at another couple of weeks for it to start growing in. So I think realistically you're looking at a 2-month cycle if you're going to let it get really strong. And that's if we've got the temperatures and everything. Now, if you've got children or if you just want to use your lawn, do you not want to be using your lawn during May and June? That's when you do want to be using your lawn. So you've got to think a little bit ahead of this. Most of my clients are regular clients that I see weekly, and they will have their springtime work booked in from, well, it's an ongoing thing. They appreciate it, they know that they need it, so it's booked in a year in advance. So when I get people phone me up in May time, towards the end of May, wanting seeding jobs, there's no way it can be done. So you just need to think a little bit more outside of the box when it comes to getting those sort of projects done. So anyone who rings up from now, I'm just saying, look, I might be able to fit you in autumn perhaps, but already I'm pretty booked then. So it's not a rant, just an observation. God, the sun's bright. So this is this lawn here. I haven't edged around the, she calls it the ruins, or the tree. She doesn't want that. She just wants the lawn mown. Okay, and now back out to lawn number 1. And this bit here, this is newly turfed, so I've left that long. I've just trimmed it off. Dark and light for the moment, just top it off and smarten it up a little bit. Don't know if that's better. Anyway, so I'll be back to feed all these lawns next week, as well as mow them, and then just feed them just to get rid of that red thread. Right, on to the next. That's obviously a weekly client. The next one I'm going to is also a weekly client, and then after that the rest will be fortnightly. This is the mower setup. Got the timemaster, that'll be the one I'm using on the next lawn. Got my strimmer, got the 41, and I've got the Stihl. In there, as I say, I've got the power plex, and that is because my BG, are they 86s? The handheld blower wasn't working properly, so I spent a bit of money on getting it fixed, and it's still not working properly. I've had it. It's been my main blower for the last 6 years, so I've had my money's worth. I've had my money's worth of it, but I am just wondering whether, for the small handheld, whether battery might be the way to go. But not that battery. Not that battery blower. I've got the backpack blower with me because it's just not man enough by itself to do all the work, especially the dewy stuff. But this afternoon on the fortnightlies it should be fine. Anyways, on to the next. So one thing I do, shall I say, is I tend to find the quickest route that includes all my lawns, and then I drive to the furthest one, and then I basically then drive home. So the next lawn is, I don't know, 5 minutes away, not even that. They're all really closely grouped together, so that's pretty cool. So this is probably the longest drive. Anyway, see you in a bit. So this lawn was a big old lawn. You might recognise this from the video I made about how to scarify a massive lawn. Basically all this section here, the sections around the front that you've seen before. You can see that the scarifying lines are still in, so that's a good reason to make sure they're straight, because we're now towards the end of May and you can still see them. That's the timemaster stripes, and there is the timemaster in fact. And then what we basically have is 2 paddocks, one here and one over there. And basically, so I cut all of this weekly, and then I cut that one last week, and I'll cut this one this week. The timemaster won't hold enough fuel to do all the lawn I've cut so far, plus 1 paddock. So at this point I stop and fill up with a little bit of fuel. But as you can see, this has recovered pretty well.
although it's now beginning to get quite dry. Yeah, I will suggest when I see the client in a minute that she maybe gets the sprinkler on in certain areas, because some of the areas obviously are quite lush. Okay, so all done. As you've seen, that bit's already been striped up, showing you that bit, and now this paddock here. So all I've done is just side discharged. I start, so you can see that I have the cable, the bungee cord just keeps it open, and then I just start on the outside and I just go getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But what that does mean is that the clippings get blown onto what I've already cut, which is possibly not the best way to do it, but if the grass is really thick, you're going to get bogged down and wet. You're going to get bogged down really quickly. What I prefer to do is the other way, so it gets cut, mulched several times. But this is just like paddock grass. I mean, that's how long it has been, and the mower just can't deal with it. But this leaves a pretty good finish in most conditions, so that's why. So the temperature is currently 29 degrees, so you Americans are probably laughing at that going, you don't know what hot is, but for us English guys, it's pretty hot. So sun cream on, especially with the new haircut. Don't want to get sunburnt. What I try to do is put sun cream on after I've finished the lawn, so it just gives it a little time to dry before I get to the next one. Otherwise, if I get there, start sun creaming up, then the first thing you do is get on the strimmer. Everything sticks to you, so I try and put it on while I've got a little time for it to dry in anyway. So cool, my little sun cream top tip. So that's mutant lawn done. The temperature is now 31 degrees. See, I'm not lying. So as I say to the Americans who are watching, who are laughing at this, in the UK that is hot, 31 degrees. Keys. So I'm now going to a cul-de-sac. You've seen this in other videos of mine before. I don't know why I did the seatbelt up. Shut the gate.
Radio 2, it's 8 minutes after 2 in Great Britain, Wednesday afternoon.
Also on this lawn, I just do that section there as well. That actually had a load of daffodils in, which I've just strummed down. Strummed? Is that the word? Strimmed down? Just need to shut the gate. It's 1, 2, that's 3 lawns down, and I've got 4 more to do. It's now 2 o'clock, just gone. The first 2 obviously being pretty big. The next 3, as I say, you've seen in plenty of my videos. It's a nice little cul-de-sac. So they're all together. Just have to park the van up and then push the mowers from house to house, which is good. And then I'm going to then go to the small lawn that I haven't been to for, well, since the start of lockdown. So we'll go and pay them a visit. Although I would imagine it'll be relatively tidy because it's a really small lawn, and I know they've got a mower, even if it's just like a fly mower or something. Right. So here we are. You see how lush that lawn is? Can you see how lush this lawn is? and you see that one, how it looks pretty burnt up. Although I mow that one, I don't treat that one. I don't need to say anything, do I? So that's the reason why we stay with the 41. And look at this for lush green grass. So this has been fed a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, looking nice but long. Okay, so nicely striped with the 41. Mower's already gone up the hill. On the steps should I say. Client's got a dog, so we always stick that back in. So that's it. So I've got one little lawn left to do. I'm not sure what the time is. I think it's getting on for 5 o'clock now. Client likes the gate open. So that's that lawn cut. It's pretty burnt up. I don't feed that one. And this lawn I do feed, and I've striped up as well. And obviously that house there too. Okay, so I've just finished at that estate, and as I said to you a second ago, I was going to go on to do one more cut. I had a client ring me who I've been trying to get hold of for the last week, so I had to just catch up with them, and then a client of one of those houses came out saying that they hadn't paid my invoice for April. So anyway, I had a good look, and we went through my invoices, and I was like, oh, I haven't sent you one. And then and basically, to cut a long story short, I'd forgotten to send her an invoice. I mean, it wasn't a massive one, so I guess it just kind of slipped through the net, perhaps. Not sure I've done that before, but you know, I guess that's the ideal situation, to have those honest clients who, if they do miss if you miss a payment, that they're going to come out and tell you about it, so that you can invoice them. So you know, I thanked her for that, and I'm really pleased she did. But what it's meant is it's now 20 past 5. Realistically, by the time I get home and get sorted, it's going to be 6ish. As a lot of you know, I've got an 11-month-old, and you know, if at best I get an hour I get to spend an hour with him per day, and that's kind of the best I can hope for at the moment. So I've decided to move that last lawn to tomorrow, if I can fit it in, and go home so I can see my boy for an hour, and then put him to bed. So that's the decision I've made. I'll try and fit them in tomorrow. I mean, it might be one that has to go, unfortunately, because I just haven't got time for it. But I guess it is what it is. There's only so many hours in the day. Interestingly, I just had a phone call from the client that I decided not to go into, and she, rather than inquiring as to where I was, her reaction was, "Do not think about coming into me now." She said, "You need to go home to your little boy." So, which is great. And she said, no pressure. She said, "Will I be seeing you tomorrow, however?" And I was like, yeah, that'll be the plan. So she's like, "Oh, that's cool. No pressure. So, see you later, but go home and see your family." So I just think that's really cool, you know, that I've got clients like that. Clients who aren't just all about having, you know, the nicest lawn at any cost. They want to make sure that, you know, if I'm happy working for them and I'm in a relaxed situation, that I'm going to stay working for them, and they want that, so it works out well. Just like the other client who came out just before I left those two houses, reminding me that I hadn't invoiced her.
I work hard to have these kind of relationships with my clients, and I think it pays off in the end. It just made me laugh where I just made a video about how I wasn't going in, and then she's rung me to say do not come in. Anyway, still driving home. Okay, so it's 7:30 now. Just put my boy to bed. Took a bit longer than normal, as all of these things do. So I'm now just going to take this time to just unload the van, get all the valuables out of it, which is irritating, but not as irritating as having it all nicked, I suppose. So yeah, going to do that, and then probably get a shower, get something to eat, and then also for the fortnightlies that I cut today, that's the last cut of this month, so I will invoice them for the month's work once I've done all those things. And then what's the time now? 7:30. I've got to run an errand, so maybe do them at about 9 o'clock-ish perhaps, and then we'll see what the time is once I've done that.